Hey everybody, Henry Fernandez here again. I'm excited about the podcast today. So ladies, this one is going to really get you thinking. So I really want you to get your girlfriends, forward the link of this podcast, tell them about it. Guys, listen, I want you to pay attention. I want you to have group discussion about this because I think it's really going to help you. So I really kind of want to just deal with this desire to be married, right? And are you hurting your chances to be married? Think about that. I mean, there's a lot of you out there. It is your desire, especially women. It's your desire to be married. You really want to settle down. Some of you are getting anxious. You're aging and you're thinking, oh my God, I got to quickly do this and so forth. And, the need to be married is there, especially in the body of Christ. The need is there. Now, some people are so turned off and they're hurt and they'll say, that's not even on my radar right now. I want to be married, because you know what? They've gotten to a point where it's like mentally they're thinking, girl, don't even worry yourself about that. That ain't going to happen right now because you know what? You've set your standard. Ain't nobody going to match up to that or meet that standard. So just forget it. Just don't focus on that. So they've already programmed their minds to say they're going to die the way they are for the rest of their lives. So don't stress. Don't stress. Don't worry about it. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But the first thing we need to do, because until we answer this question correctly, we're never going to position ourselves for that great desire. The great desire of, I want to find that special woman in my life. I want to find that special man in my life. We must answer the question about what is marriage? What is marriage? Because I can't tell you how many times, by virtue of the job that I do, to see so many people having the wrong concept of marriage. And once you have the wrong concept of marriage, you're going to enter into something that is going to eat you alive. Have you ever asked yourself the question, what is the real reason for marriage? Why do I want to get married? Why? Think about it. Because then if your desire, watch this, to get married is, I just want to settle down. What does that mean? I just want to settle down. I want to find that woman. I want to find that man in my life to settle down, to settle down. To settle down, that means that you're not settled. Currently, you're not settled. And what makes you think that if your eyes or your passion or whatever is all over the place, it's not focused or whatever, what makes you think, giving a woman a ring or giving a man a ring, walking down the aisles, what makes you think that's going to settle you? I think you have enough sense to know that a lot of people, get married, but they're not settled. So what's marriage? Is it to just have sex, even though that's a part of marriage, right? And for those of us who are Christians, that's kind of like the gateway into marriage. You be married, and then it's kind of like, not the gateway, I should say, but it's one of the forbidden thing. While dating, we need to marry, then we can engage in sex. That's scripture, right? You may disagree with it. So you have to ask yourself the question, okay, you want to get married because you want to have sex. For the unbeliever, it doesn't matter. They're going to enjoy themselves. But for Christians, are you going to just go into marriage just so that you don't feel guilty? You don't feel sinful? Does that help? Okay? Because marriage is more than sex. Think about that. Marriage is more than intercourse. Okay? So what is marriage? Is it, I just want to have kids and, I just want to find this partner and we just live happily ever after? Think about that. I mean, because I think so many times people enter into the institution of marriage, because it is an institution, with the wrong idea of what marriage is. And think about it. Just think about it. That marriage, according to God's word, marriage is that holy institution that God has created, which, by the way, he gave us marriage to enjoy ourselves, whether it is to connect with another human being. It's not just sex. Sex is that thing that God's given us marriage for, but it's really to connect with that human being. But most importantly, to build God's kingdom on the earth. It may sound lame. It is about building an empire. God's empire. And because God's empire has to do with you building your own empire with your spouse. It's all about that. It's built. If you ever think about it, if you're passionate about, I want to get married, listen, most women, not all, most women, they have a long list. I want to get married. I'm looking for somebody handsome. I'm looking for somebody who can take care of me. I'm looking for somebody who can give me great sex. I'm looking for somebody who will respect me. All of those things can be true. And the truth is, you may not find someone who will give you all of what you want. That's why the 80-20 rule comes into play. You have to look, because if you're ever looking for, let's say you have 5 things on your list, and if you're saying, if he ain't coming with these 5 things, I ain't gonna marry nobody. Well, honey, might as well you just have a prayer meeting and just know that you're gonna be a nun for the rest of your life. You're gonna be a nun. Shut up. Closed up. Ain't nothing gonna happen, because you ain't gonna find no man who will check off all the list that you have. Same thing as a man. If you're looking for a woman and you got all them list of things and so forth, you may just want to make up in your mind that you are going back to heaven just like that. There will be no more release. You going to heaven. Think about that. Oh, you're like, oh, Bishop, I'm telling you, because you're never going to find somebody who is going to meet all of what you want. It's the 80-20 rule. You got to look at the 80. What are the best qualities that truly helps strengthen a marriage? Because a marriage is more about God's agenda versus your need. If you ever think about that, it's not what you can get from the woman. It's not what you can get from the man. It's about, okay, how can both of us glorify God? How can both of us live the life that God requires us to live in the institution of marriage? You've got to fix that first. Why are you going to be married? If you're going to marry somebody because, you want them to take care of you, you want to secure the bag. And I hear ladies say that a lot. I'm going to marry a man. He got to learn to take care of me, and at this stage of my life, and I think I understand that. You have your degree, or maybe you don't have a degree, whatever it is, but you've got your house, your car, and you're making good money, and so forth. So of course, you never ever gonna take a man who don't have a degree or don't have no money or whatever, because of course, and please understand, I'm getting that because it's running a risk. You work so hard and you bring all of that to the table, and he comes with nothing, and there's a chance he takes it away. There are ways you can fix that, right? But if your bar is this high, right, and you have to realize that the stats are against you. It's hard when you're up here. It's hard to now find the guy or the woman to actually come up to your level. So then, is it possible that maybe if you desire to be married, you have to look more of the purpose of marriage. That way, your high standards, will not meet his standard or her standard. No. Your high standard now will meet God's standard. Because once it's God's standard, then that other human being, God's got a man, God's got a woman who can meet his godly standard now to meet your needs. Are you getting that? So let's dive into this conversation for a minute. After I've tried to, in a brief way, because I don't have time to share with you the real purpose of marriage. It's beyond the physical. It is to honor God when it comes to that institution. Here's the question, a couple of questions I want to ask you. Are you really ready for marriage? Think about that. Are you really ready for marriage? You may be thinking about it, maybe your desire. Are you ready? Are you preparing yourself for marriage? Because you cannot go into marriage with the idea that your needs must be serviced. If you're going into marriage, and this is where men make a lot of mistakes, women make a lot of mistakes, you go into the concept like, okay, I'm looking for my spouse, but I've got this long list, and not understanding that what's not important is their list, but it's actually your list. Never thought about that, right? It's really your list. It is your list of what are you willing to do to prepare yourself for marriage. And the first thing you've got to do to prepare yourself for marriage, listen to me, is not looking sexy, is not looking handsome, is not trying to appeal to the naked eye. The first thing you have to do is clean up the mind. That's the very first thing you have to do. So sisters, I need you to listen to me carefully. You got to clean up the mind. Because if your mind is programmed by your hurts, a lot of sisters are hurt. A lot of sisters through all kinds of stuff. Whether it is, the betrayal of past relationships, whether it is the environment they grew up in. There are many women grow up in single parents' home with their mothers, so their mothers were bitter against men or angry against men or were dissatisfied with men. So every day those little girls were hearing the bad side of men and the venting of the mothers because she had nobody to talk to and your daddy's worthless or whatever. And the fact is the man failed, miserable. I get that. But you grew up as a young girl not having a good image of men because everything that was deposited into you was the hurt of your mom. Think about that. The girls around you, the aunties around you, and so forth. So you grew up with that mindset of thinking one way about a man. So a lot of the issues were men, when most women didn't know it affected them. It affected them. So I can't tell you how many women will go into relationship. Yes, they want to date. They want to end up getting married. But they go into that thing thinking, okay, mama don't make no fool. And look, I'm going to protect myself. And all of those things are great. Please don't get me wrong. Yes, the sister need to do that. But the point I'm getting, when this mind is conditioned a certain way, then you give room for insecurity. And so many women are not secure in themselves and they're designed to be married. It's dangerous, very dangerous. There are many men now, because not just the sisters, many men who are not ready for marriage. Why? Because again, grew up with their mom. Very seldom guys grew up with their daddy. Not saying it didn't happen, but they grew up with their mom. Mom was frustrated about the daddy and so forth. The little boy, he became the missing man in her life. So she either spoiled him, love him, or she took out all of the daddy's feelings that she had for the daddy on the son. So he grew up with this kind of a way. He grew up seeing a miserable woman. He grew up seeing a woman who talks about men. He grew up seeing his mama just do different things. So therefore, he starts thinking that's normal. Just like the woman, she thinking those things are normal. So he's not trained. Watch this. He's not trained properly to handle a woman. So in his teens, his focus is she's looking good. If you ask most high schoolers right now, what do you think about a girl and so forth? What's the first thing you're attracted to a girl? It's always physical. It's always physical. And these girls will let you know. These girls will let you know. Average woman, it's all about how she feels externally, her body. She has to feel sexy. She has to appeal. And you can tell today they're looking for all of that attention, looking for all of that. When not understanding, for men, a man who's truly looking for a great wife, you should never let her physical appearance be your priority. You need to look at her thought process. Is she healed mentally? How does she think? Can she stimulate you? Can she motivate you? Can she get you to a place where she encourages you? Because in every boy, there's a king. Listen to me. I'll say it again. In every boy, there's a king. You'd be surprised. In every man, there is a king inside of him. And it takes, as Steve Harvey would say, it takes a special woman to bring it out. That's why it's amazing. A man and a woman would live like cats and dogs, hate each other, can't seem to get it together, and just literally just be enemies and fought for years to try to make it work, and it won't work. And sometimes it takes another person. For her, it's another man who will just literally love her and bring the queen out of her and change all of that toxic behavior and so forth. Same thing with a man, will change that man. It takes one person who knows how to connect with the mind. That's why I tell couples all the time, whether they're dating or they lead into marriage, work on this. Stimulate the mind of your spouse. If you can do that, that's a home run right there. If the mind is right, in other words, it is deprogrammed from all of the bad influences. If it's been deprogrammed from the mindset of the past, focusing on the right things, now you can work with that person. So are you really ready for marriage? Are you ready to be able, watch this, are you ready to be able to share yourself with someone? Think about it. To share yourself, to become vulnerable to someone, to be able to have someone to trust you with their lives, to trust you with their vulnerability. Are you able to embrace and to comfort and to give that other person a safe zone? Think about it. Think about it. There's so many women, what they want from a man is that safety, is that companionship. It's knowing that he loves me unconditionally. He doesn't love me because I put on girdles and I'm stiffening myself, can't hardly breathe, to make him take his eyes off another woman. He loves me just the way I am, right? He's a guy's not going to judge me. He's going to be patient with me. So if I need to go out at 8 o'clock and we're going out together and I'm still in the bathroom at 7:30, he's not going to cuss me out. He's not going to make the night become a war zone. He's going to be patient. He's going to be truthful. He's going to say, baby, you need to work on your time. But he's going to treat me like a queen. He's going to know what I like. You know, if I like, let's say vanilla ice ice cream for no special reason. He's just going to be at home and just say, look, I'm going to surprise her. Baby, I'll be right back. Go to the store and bring vanilla ice cream for us. I just thought of you. I just wanted to share this with you. I just wanted to give it to you. I want you to be happy. Simple. It may be lame. I get it. But simple things like that, right? A woman wants a guy who, when she's stressed out from work and so forth, she comes home, that she can just have a chilling moment and she can just blah, 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 blah. And you don't ignore her. Just hear her out and be very concerned. She's looking for that guy. Are you ready to be that guy? Are you ready to be that guy to accept her for who she is? Just accept her. I'm not saying accept the craziness and all the other stuff that women tend to do and don't want to change, right? But are you willing to accept her for who she is? Not trying to change her to be like your ex, not trying to change her to be like your mama, not trying to change her to be that imaginary girlfriend, right? Is accepting her for who she is. Same thing for the ladies. Are you willing to accept that man? Can you provide a safe place for that man? So if he was to come home stressed out, fighting devils and everybody else out there, hustling away and trying to bring the bacon home, are you willing to make sure that he doesn't come home to World War II? He doesn't come home to a battleground, that you're willing to understand that sometimes you just need to leave him alone. Sometimes it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. Sometimes you gotta be able to provide that lap that he can lay his head in, and you figure out his strength, you figure out his weakness, and don't use it against him. So are you really ready for marriage? Are you really ready to give up your individual, watch this, and I know you're going to throw the pillow at me now, your individual interest, making it a priority, and say, I'm willing for us to have a corporate interest while I still pursue my own personal goals. But what takes a priority is our thing versus my thing, and I don't care about your thing. Are you hearing me? So, you got to answer the question, are you really ready for marriage? Are you really ready to submit? Are you really ready to be loyal, committed? Are you ready to understand the other person's desire and will make every effort to meet them? So you have to really ask that question. And then maybe the question should be, why do you want to be married? Why? What do you want to? Is it a status thing? Some people, it's a status thing. Listen to me, men and women. If your desire is to be married because your clock is running out and you want to do it by a certain time, that's wrong. That's wrong. Because you can get married at any age. I understand the pressure society put at you. I ain't going to be married at no 40, 45, no 50, and so forth. Okay, so at 25, 30, you're going to kill yourself because I want to be married and so forth. You ask a lot of people who rushed into marriage because it was the thing. It was like almost something was wrong with them if they don't get married by a certain time. If they be true to you, you ask a lot of them, and they will tell you if they could go back and turn back the hand of time, they would. So, why do you want to get married? Why? Is this just to satisfy society's desires, or is it really according to God's purpose for your life? It's because I want to share my life with someone. I want to, here's the word now, and you're going to throw that pillow again. I want to serve someone. I want to be someone's reason for living. Woo! That's loaded. Boom. Drop mic moment. I want to be someone's reason for living. I want to be able to say, or for someone else to say that I need you in my life. Without you, I can't complete my assignment. And I know some people, no, I don't need nobody to do my assignment. Then die solo. Stop talking about you want to get married. Don't even deal with that no more. But if you truly want to be married, you have to ask yourself the question, are you willing to serve? Are you willing to give of yourself and to be fully committed, not to self-service, but to partnership? What are you willing to let go in order to improve your chances of being married? What are you willing to let go in order to improve your chances to get married? Because there's a lot of things singles are doing that are actually preventing them from being married. Are you willing to let go of the way you think? And I'm talking about the positive and the godly thoughts. Are you willing to let go of the bad habits, wrong concepts? Are you willing to let go of certain things that are hurting your chances? Your attitude. Think about that. Your attitude. There's so many women, brothers, who, listen, it's not that they won't give in to say, man, I would marry you, man. You're marriage material. I'll date you and we can get married and so forth. They're willing to do that. But if you're not willing to let go of your hurts, your anger, your inconsistency. For a lot of men, it's our inconsistency. Okay, so she constantly forgive and she constantly turn the other way and look and overlook and ignore it, but you're so inconsistent. Are you willing? What are you willing to let go of? Who are you willing to let go of to say, I will make sure I secure my place with her, because I'm willing to let go whatever. Think about that. What are you willing as a woman to let go? Okay? Friends or whatever, your own thoughts. I know it's going to hit a lot of people. Please don't get this wrong now. Your independence. Not telling you to not be your own unique self as a woman. I'm not saying that. But the independence I'm talking about, the need to, or the idea that you are fine. You technically don't need a man, but if you get him, you take him. That is a problem area there. You can't, I don't, because if you don't really need the man, then don't. But it's better for you to say, I really need someone in my life. I need someone in my life, but I'm not going to compromise. See, there's a difference. I'm not going to just settle for any little thing, right? I get that. But you have to make sure that you're willing to let go of your hurts. You're willing, watch this. You're willing to say, my standards are here. I need him to make $100,000 a year. I need him to make $200,000 a year. He's got to come with a house that is paid off. He's got to come with a credit score of 800. He's got to come with no children. He's got to come with a master's degree and so forth. I get all of that. That's your standard. But are you willing to let go to say, okay, he may have his GED, but you know what? He's got a business. He's making good little money, okay? And his credit score is 700. We'll work on it and so forth. Let me just look at his background. Let me just look at his consistency. Let me look at his potential. That's it. Let me look at his potential, right? Because you see, this guy here that you may be ignoring may be the guy who will appreciate your willingness to partner with him, right? So that you both can build this empire and become all that you can be for God, your children, your future children, and everything like that, versus this high value guy that you say you want. He's up here and so forth. They're great high value guys, but the good ones, the good high value guys, the stuff that you're looking for, that's not what they want. That's not what they want. And that's why many women get disappointed. They get disappointed because there's a lot of times they're looking in the wrong direction and having the wrong concept about what marriage is. And sometimes they really don't want to be married because they're not willing to let go and begin to see the real purpose of marriage. I just got about 5 minutes more left with you. So what are you willing to do to let go? What are you willing to let go, I should say, to improve your chances to be married? And are you looking for mutual relationship or self-serving relationship? Mutual relationship. Is this going to be a partnership where we're going to share, have shared values? I'm looking for somebody who I can build an empire with, someone who's sharing my values and so forth. And we can compare, because I may think one way, but that person may open my understanding. And then I can say, wait a minute, okay, we can make this work and so forth. Shared values, right? Because you can't have, I want to get married, but she doesn't believe in God at all, and have a problem with God, have a problem with church, have a problem with spiritual leaders, or he has a problem with God. Because the problem is, if you say, well, okay, fine, I'll marry them and maybe I could just win them. No. You're going into it knowing that you don't have shared values. Let's say she says, okay, she wants a house and her goal is to have a house to build a retirement and to build a legacy for the kids. But his thing is, I want a house. I ain't going to buy no house. I'm just done with that. I just want to rent forever. I don't think saving the money need to be spent and so forth. You don't have shared values. There are going to be problems. And a lot of people ignore the problems in their dating and still end up getting married, and now turn around as if they're shocked. Why am I still having a problem with this man, this woman? You saw the red flags before, but you totally ignore them. So I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you have shared value, mutual values when it comes to the type of relationship you want, and not something is self-seeking, self-serving. Because if the person you are trying to date is going to hold on to their point, and there's a sense of selfishness in them, that partnership is not going to work, because there's no partnership in that. And then finally, are you looking for someone? Watch this. Are you looking for someone just to meet your needs, not thinking that you both should meet others' needs? That the same way I want respect from you, I need you to respect me. The same way you want me to appreciate you and to say all kinds of kind words to you, it's the same way I need that. You'll be shocked. And I will say to every man and every woman, take inventory of your dating right now. Whoever you're dating, check them out. Check them out. How often do they tell you nice words and, hey, you're looking good, you're looking great, you're handsome, you're my dude, man, I love you, man. Thank you. I see your effort. I really appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. I thank you. You mean the world to me. Of all the women I've dated, you have really repaired my bad taste and distaste about women or men and so forth. I thank you. Thank you for being that great father to your children. They're not my kids, but I watch you. You're doing an awesome job. Hey, thank you. The man, the kid's father is not in their lives, but I watch you as a woman raising your kids by yourself. You're doing an amazing job, man. I thank you. I see your effort. I see you hustling. You go out every day and you're working. Thank you. That was great. Oh, that was nice that you brought me lunch today. That was incredible. I appreciate you. Send a text message. I was just sitting at my desk here a moment ago and I thought about you, and I just can't help but to think how blessed I am to be able to be talking to you. Looking forward to what our future would look like. See, finding a way to build that person, to encourage that person, versus always nitpicking about the simplest thing, selfish things you want that person to do for you all the time, but you never do for the other person. And in any relationship, I tell people, be careful before you get into marriage. You watch a person who always take, and never give. You watch a person who always want affirmation, but will never release it. So think about it. Are you hurting your chances to be married? Are you? Think about that. I hope I've helped you today. I'll see you next time on the podcast.